surging talents on both these teams. So again, agree it's a sort of top of the table clash. They're both 1-0 right now, and I think we're going to see these at least in playoffs. Probably
yeah,
deep.
yeah, I think so for sure. Cloud9 has been so good throughout Academy, really every year, and I do think that they're looking to compete there. Golden Guardians really upgrading their Academy team. You know, kind of over the years, they've been trying to build this up and create more of a system from which they can pull players up to their LCS squad. And I think that's something that a lot of the teams, if not all the teams, really should be working on because you can find such valuable players. You know, if you get one really strong player that is a North American player, that can be so valuable in the LCS because that's a role you don't need to import. That's a role that is, you know, really, really worth a lot for the squad.
All right, looking at the first pick, Aphelios, though. Most teams would do this when you consider the bans already on the table, like Akali and Rumble. But looking around at what they might really want to do, yeah, Aphelios is going to be the pick. Is a very, very strong laner. His base stats are super low, but his spells do so much damage. His Q is like 145 damage at basically level 2 when you first cast it, the sniper Q. Absolutely incredible damage. You land it, then get the mark, then the offhand auto attack. Does a whole lot. MF as the counter pick is a strong laner herself, but from what I have seen, cannot quite beat Aphelios in the first few levels.
Yeah, going to be interested to see what supports they're actually paired up with, because that is a very big deal. Gorica did play Aphelios yesterday. Again, had a great game on it, 519. He was deathless on the Braum. That is what I've been seeing paired up with Aphelios by far the most. And it's also actually very good into MF, using that Braum shield to actually block out the ultimate. So I would be very surprised if Golden Guardians don't grab Braum here. It's also good into Ornn. I really think it's kind of a bit of a mispick if you're not going to grab that early on, because that can also be taken away by Cloud9. And yeah, I mean, it's just, you have to, right?
Yeah.
MF and Ornn is like screaming take Braum, and it pairs well with Aphelios. So I think it was the only pick that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the Yasuo hover. I would accept Yasuo. Not that I really want to see the blind Yasuo, but it does the same thing at least. You wind wall this stuff.
I guess.
It's actually better because you can do it both ways, right? Right? Because if the Ornn Horn comes in, you want to block backwards, but the MF ult comes through. If you wind wall, you get both of them.
I feel like it's so much harder for Yasuo to be in the right place at the right time every time to be able to block these off.
I'll give you that one.
Compared to Braum.
That's true.
Braum is very consistent. Braum doesn't have to use the stand behind me for like any, the stand behind me and the shield. You just jump back to your AD. You don't have to use that for anything but those ultimates. But either way, it doesn't really matter.
I see your point.
We do have Inori grabbing the Olaf. He's going to be able to have a lot of early game power. This is also a pick that a lot of junglers do like, because it is one of the junglers that, if you elect to go that route, can actually power farm very, very heavily too, and kind of keep up more in golden experience with some of the soul laners. That is a complaint of most, if not all, junglers these days, is they feel that they are so under-leveled compared to the rest of the game. So we'll see how Inori wants to try to play this out.
That's going to be an exciting one. But yeah, I'm looking at, clear 3 camps one side of the jungle, and then gank a lane with a bunch of axes and, try to run down the Mordekaiser, who is going to try to walk away very slowly.
I mean, if you want to do that, they're going to have to draft some more gank assists here. Ornn, a decent option to go up to that top side. But the Mordekaiser is a very good matchup, especially if they're not kind of getting interrupted up into that Ornn. Orianna, good blind pick, does kind of work well with the Olaf with the speed up, but again, not the most powerful gank assist. So unless there's a kind of a last pick support pick here for Diamond that is really going to be kind of calling Inori down to that bottom lane, it doesn't really have a ton of options on where to go. And in those types of cases, I tend to think the plan becomes push in your lanes, allow him to counter jungle, allow him to kind of chase the opposing jungler around the map. It's going to be leased in here for hard.
My mind goes to Leona. She is the #1 most picked and banned support in pro play so far this patch. She is left up from what I can tell, unless I'm missing something, and would work quite well in the matchup, I think.
It's interesting because, I do agree it makes sense, but I feel like it has to be something a bit spicier than that when you didn't blind pick it, right? You blind picked your mid laner to save your support pick, and if you just want to go Leona and play a tank support into another tank support, then it's pretty surprising to me that you're actually going to blind pick your mid lane. Yeah. So it is going to be something a bit different here. Okay, we'll wait.
Hey, there's spicy options, though.
Because he is just hovering stuff. He might just be having a little bit of fun. It's also possible that it's Ornn support. So Zilean coming through. So this is something that does work great with the Olaf here. You can actually speed him up and throw bombs on his head. He can run in and actually extends, I think, kind of the life of the Olaf in the game, because a lot of people talk about Olaf is falling off very heavily late game. If you have a Zilean behind you, you actually can have a late game relevance. The added damage from the bombs as well as the revive and the speed up do give you the ability to actually take down some of these carries, even in the later stages.
Yeah. Cloud9 very clearly have a plan here. It's two different, mages to support Inori's Olaf. He's going to go Cleaver, second item. Fudge can upgrade that for him as well. Like, we're going to see Inori be the focus of Cloud9's team comp right here. Other side here for Golden Guardians, a lot of damage. Victor, we know, is very good. Aphelios is the most prized bot laner. Xayah Spartan on Mordekaiser, we're seeing more usually as the counterpick to Ornn. You can battle him, you've got more damage, you sustain him with Conqueror. That's going to look really good up there as well.
Yeah, it really should. I will say it does usually take an item or two completed before you can really start bullying. You can win that matchup early as Mord, but Ornn has the ability to solo kill and to win lanes in a surprising fashion against many, many matchups. So, it's more once you have a little bit more kind of behind you. If you can get up to something like an early Leandries, then it becomes incredibly powerful. The percentage HP with that, on top of your passive, you're stealing the stats when you ult them in. That's when you can really start to take over and look to kind of play that side lane style. And I think that's something that Xayah Spartan was kind of known for back in the days. So maybe looking for a little bit of that swagger, looking for a little bit of side lane dominance here against the Ornn.
I'm looking for swagger. Swagger's exciting. We are on to the Rift, and we'll be playing soon. Don't worry too much about this one. Golden Guardians Academy.
We'll find out pretty quickly if he's going to go Spell Thieves, and he is.
Yep, he is doing biscuits indeed on the rune page there with all the pretty standard stuff. He's running Scorch, Mana Flow Band, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, he's going to be aggressive. There's Spell Thieves there as well. And yeah, the early levels should be safe enough against Braum. I want to see if we can watch the first couple levels of the Aphelios here. And if the fact that there's a range support to trade back really stops that level 2 aspect from happening.
Yeah, I just don't even know how King and Diamond are going to want to play this. Like, my assumption is that they're actually just going to try to basically hold the wave near the turret, sit in the turret, and play very defensively. Because you can try to just shove and ignore your opponents that way, but anytime you're shoving, it can be so easy for Braum to actually just hop to a minion, Q you, and then all of a sudden you're in danger of getting all in if Hard is there and you get rooted up by Gorica, etc. So looking for some sort of a 5-man play here on the bot side was Golden Guardians, potentially expecting an invade because it is against Olaf, so there was potential for them to try to get aggressive, and they would have been ready for that, but it's just going to diffuse as we do have line of scrimmage for Cloud9 Academy, and Zion's going to have to hoof it up to the top lane.
One thing I want to point out, unless you mentioned it and I didn't hear you, is TP for Gorica, heal for Huhi. No Ignite, no Exhaust. TP on bot lane, we saw a fair bit. Less so this season. I feel like we don't see it very much anymore. But I very rarely see the support go for the actual support of Summoner Spell, and I think it's cool to see.
Yeah, and it is also actually Conqueror for Gorica. So this is not Press the Attack, which I see much more frequently.
Yeah.
Conqueror can be pretty powerful, and it's actually, if you're someone who looks a lot at win rates, as I know we both are, very often the highest win rate, even for a lot of the ranged characters, can be very, very powerful if you can stack it up. And when you're looking over at the other side, hey, there's a lot of frontliners you're going to be hitting in these team fights. So I can get the thought process of saying, if I'm just going to be hitting an Ornn and going to be hitting this Olaf, then it could be pretty powerful.
Definitely agree. We'll see if that does come into fruition later on. And it, again, also one thing with Press the Attack, right, is it's a very good laning phase rune because you auto 3 times, you get the chunk of damage. Hey, I did my trading pattern, see you later. If you're not expecting to get heavy trades, then you don't care about the laning phase power of your keystone, you care about the team fight power of your keystone. And as you're mentioning, again, I think that does feed into Conqueror. So another sort of small piece there because I think there is a situational choice to be made. Fudge early on, going to be pushing in this top lane, only drops a single CS.
Yep, and you'll note he just started refillable, no item. That is intentional. You actually farm out the first wave or 2, and then you purchase your item, so you can actually start Doran Shield plus the refillable. This is something that a lot of Ornn players do like to do instead of actually spending the money on the health potions early on. It's just a little bit more efficient. Obviously, your first wave or 2 is weaker, but you're not really worried about that in a matchup like this, where the Mordekaiser can't go super aggressive, level 1.
All right, well, again, a little bit of harass. Nice bomb's going to land. Gorica mostly blocks it with the shield. Of course, the Scythe Pistol makes it pretty easy to stay it up. Then if you are the advantage lane, you take up Sniper Rifle, and it does pretty well there as well. Farm pretty equal down on the bottom side as Palafox and a Blaze Olive are battling back and forth. Small lead to the victor, but more farm to be had for the Orianna.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what build King actually does like to go for. You still see a fair bit of Bladed Ring King plus PTA on UNF. That's pretty popular, but you can also actually go towards Lethality, you can go towards Essence Reaver and have kind of more standard crit builds. So
yeah,
there are a lot of options. I'm really a pretty big fan of the Essence Reaver build. I think it does allow you to have both some pretty powerful scaling as well as a lot of mana to work with and kind of perform as a bit of a spellcaster.
Yep, I think the absolute best MF build is Essence Reaver into IE or Storm Razor. You go the attack damage crit items. You don't go to Zealot till at least third. Yeah. And you max W. You max Strut for the attack speed. It's got a really good rank up on the attack speed. Cooldown goes down as well. So you've got all the raw AD to be a spellcaster. And in a team fight, you've got all the attack speed you need from Strut. And you end up being really, really strong at all points in the game. So that's what I'm expecting to see here. Looking over at the skill order so far, it's 2 points Q, 1 point W, so isn't doing that though.
Yeah, Q does have a lot of laning power, so I have seen some FFs play that sort of style and go 2 to 3 points Q for lane, then they start maxing W and things like that. And players do kind of have their different ideas on the best way to play out those sorts of styles. It's honestly kind of similar to how you see a lot of supports playing it, where they'll sometimes put a couple points into their kind of laning ability. Their
Soda and Karma often takes damage, then shield. Well, still a pretty close game, though, in the early game as we just keep going across the lanes and seeing that, indeed, they are farming pretty safely back and forth. CS counts very close across. Inori, though, up one camp. Cannot find a gank to be had. Goes through his own control ward. One comes down from Palafox as well. And fortunately, even sees that extra ward to kill.
That's right on the edge of that vision range from that control ward. So does feel pretty nice for him. And something we've actually been looking into recently was we were talking about the efficiency of Ornn items and just how powerful some of the upgrades are and how there's actually quite a lot of variance between them. This is a great Abyssal Mask game, and Abyssal Mask actually gives a ridiculous about 1,800 gold worth of additional stats when you do upgrade that with the Ornn item. So it is just so incredibly effective compared to some of these other items, and it's going to be really powerful here for Fudge with both solo laners being pretty much pure magic.
Absolutely agree. Yeah, and to sort of add to your point, 1,800 gold for Mask is by far the highest of the upgrades.
Yeah.
It is, gold efficiency-wise, by far the single best Ornn upgrade. So if you can do it, do it. And you should kind of hunt for that when you're playing Ornn. It's why so many pros buy it first, is I think they mostly establish the feel of how good the item buys, but mathematically it's amazing. Fight in the mid lane, ulti pops in, and he's stunned now as well. Palafox will survive the fight, but he's running low. Has TP to sustain later on if he needs it. Q is going to get him the cannon minion, but that's still a lot of control. And now Golden Guardians with the pressure in mid, with the pressure in bot, going to go for the very early Infernal Drake as well.
Yeah, it's going to let them actually start this up, and it should just be theirs. I don't know if Inori wants to go in for it. King actually canceled his recall, so they are trying to get in range.
Stun comes out. The fight's going to come through cleanly enough. The fight now has started, though, as Inori is around, but he can't quite find the kill. Doesn't get away from the stun, doesn't have the ulti. First blood comes through for Huhi, and Diamond is pushed away as well.
Yeah, Fudge's TP actually got canceled there by Zion Spartan.
Big damage here. Can't get the knockup, but a couple more autos would kill him. Has flash. He's going to Q, he's going to auto, and Fudge gets the kill.
Oh, and I don't know how many turret shots or how much damage Zion actually had to take to get in there to cancel the TP, but he did cancel it, and it wasn't Ornn I saw TPing under his turret, so Zion may have actually just taken too much damage in the process to stop that, so does effectively prevent maybe some more kills on that bottom side, but it's going to hurt his lane quite a bit.
It's going to hurt it a lot. His TP, of course, himself, that's already gone as well. After that death gets Merc Treads and a Ruby Crystal. Not the most beautiful, obviously.
No. I don't really love the Merc Treads as a buy here, honestly. There's some slows to reduce, but there's really not that much CC on the other side. So if you want to go to a defensive build, I'd honestly prefer him just grab a null and build towards some AP or something like that.
So the one point I'll give, and you can easily debate this because you play more top than me, but the top I have played, Mordekaiser is a very move speed based champion. Yeah. Like, can you stay in range for your passive? Because that's where most of your damage comes from, especially in tank matchups, because it's pure % health damage. In those contexts, I've seen Boots 2 be really important in the matchup on as the Mordekaiser and against the Mordekaiser, just to prevent the passive range. Because if you can dodge the skill shots, you can prevent the passive from staying up, right? It's only refresh if you can land an auto or land a spell. Yeah. If you have more move speed, you land autos every time.
It can be fair. I just think generally, when you're playing Mordekaiser into tanks, Landry is just so ridiculously good that it just feels like, even just getting towards the kind of pieces of that is so incredibly effective. And here is going to be that TP stop, so we'll see exactly how it came out. Fudge backing up, looking for the teleport. So Zion goes in, ults actually to cancel that, it looks like. So you
Yep.
can't actually leave the Death Realm. That is such a funny interaction.
Oh, he's stuck
I knew
in
it
turret
canceled
range.
the TP, but yeah, he actually couldn't walk down. And I guess he just hit Fudge and pulled aggro.
He queued him.
So
He's like, he walked up, so I guess I'll queue the guy until pulls 3 turret shots.
that is just really a straight up misplay, it seemed, from Zion. Not being able to actually just kind of realize that he would be in turret range when he did hit him. The ultimate was really intelligent to actually stop that. We are paused to investigate a possible bug. I do not know if that is in relation to how the teleport worked there, if that is in relation to something completely unrelated to what we just saw on screen. But you know, it doesn't surprise me that you can't teleport out of Death Realm, because I know that is supposed to be a completely different instance of League of Legends.
Yep, I've done that myself.
Yeah, and there's no way you can actually leave that circle. Like, you can't flash out of the circle, you can't do anything. So makes sense it would work that way. I don't really know what the bug is, but we'll give you more information when we have it.
In the meantime, though, we've got a pretty close game, right? Went 1-1 overall. Of course, Orn got his kill up at the top side. Good job to you. Of course, that dragon fight definitely went in the way of Golden Garnets here, of course. They not only got the Drake themselves, but they got the pick off there on Inori, who was not yet level 6, couldn't get out of the stuns, couldn't walk away.
So the information that I've been given is that Zion Spartan said he could not see the Ornal, that it was actually invisible. And, you know, that is something that, you know, is pretty important. I'm not sure if he had his flash still at that point, but being able to flash or avoid that Orn ultimate is a big deal if that is coming out. And I have been experiencing some of these kind of vision issues, you know, since preseason. You know, I've seen things like that where projectiles are invisible, or a champion coming out of vision. You know, you don't actually see him until he lands. So these kind of things have been happening a bit with the game. Hopefully, we can get this sorted out. You know, they do have the ability to actually see what was on the player's screen, not just kind of rewind and watch from a replay.
Sure.
They actually have, you know, the ability to see what Darshan saw, what Zion Spartan saw, and kind of figure out if this was a bug or if it was intended.
Yep.
And hopefully we will be able to have no issues and keep going on.
Yeah, well, I did hear we're investigating a possible chrono break, so they are considering rolling it back, 10 seconds roughly, and starting that one over. I'm not...
I wonder if it would be before or after he ulted.
I don't know.
That's a big deal.
But I do know that speculating on I wonder does not go very far in conversation, so we're going to table that one. We'll see what happens. I just know it's so useless, right? To like have that and just
fun
like...
to talk about.
I know, but there have to be other topics, I feel like.
Nope, that's the only one. That's the only topic of conversation.
I'm pulling the play-by-play card and directing conversation elsewhere.
All right, where are we going?
We're going... my first thought was, hey, we're both going bald, but we're going to go and talk about the fact that this game is 7 minutes in. What is your favorite Dragon Soul?
So favorite as in most fun, or one that's most powerful?
Let's go your favorite. Like you're gonna have more fun playing League in this game.
So the most fun I have had with the Dragon Soul, I would say, is Cloud, but that is because of specific interactions. I have a lot of fun playing Kassadin with the Cloud Soul. I think that was really, really strong. So here is the kill one more time. This is when the Orn ultimate would have been invisible. He actually missed the redirect on the Orn ult, so I guess it applies brittle, but I don't even know that that really matters whatsoever there.
He was already W'd, I thought.
Yeah, so, I mean, Fudge actually missed the redirect on the Orn ult, so it shouldn't really matter whether you saw it or not, because it's pretty much unavoidable on the way in.
Yeah, unless he was trying to flash the slow on the way in, that was like the more important thing to him.
If you flash the slow, then you're usually going to get hit by the follow-up anyway. But
yeah.
In that kind of close proximity. Either way. I would say Cloud Soul is the one that I've kind of had the most fun with. I don't think
run
it's
around fast.
Powerful. Yeah, like there's certain champions that are so fun with it. Fiora is another one I really enjoy playing with Cloud Soul.
Okay.
You pop the ultimate, you already get move speed from the ultimate, and then you're just flying on top of the people, and it makes it super easy to actually proc all the different vitals. So those ones are a lot of fun. I think that Ocean is by far the most powerful. It's just like idiot proof. There's nothing you have to actually do well with this. It's just really good. You just kind of exist, and it's super strong. And probably the least favorite for me would be Earth.
Mountain, yeah.
Yeah. I just don't. I mean, it can be really good, but it's not super exciting.
Well, quick redirect here. League Ops have reviewed, and long story short, we're playing through.
Okay.
So once everyone's ready to go, we're resuming the game and just going in as is. About 7 minutes in, pretty close game overall. Lowercase r's in all chat. Diamond says R-ami, which is French for friend. But it's friend singular. So he's only talking to one person.
Oh. Is he talking to you?
No. Almost
Likely.
definitely not.
Even though he was nice to you when you DM'd
He was
him?
nice to me a couple days ago, Wednesday night, but
You're
no,
not
I
on
don't
that
think.
level.
I don't think.
Can't call him friend yet.
I feel like, you know, I'm not the kind of guy he's gonna call friend in French in all
Okay.
chat when he doesn't even know it's me. Like the account I'm logged in on right now, hashtag account showing is Captain Flowers on the tournament realm. So you know, maybe he's talking to Captain Flowers,
That's possible.
and he's like, "Man, Clayton, I really appreciate you, but it's definitely not me."
It's okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yep.
Well, either way, I think it was probably the right call. It didn't look like the Ornn ult was very relevant there. He got solo killed even without being hit by the Ornn knockup. So we are going to be moving on. Fudge working quickly towards that Abyssal. Very, very strong item. And Catalyst is so good for laning. That is one of the things that always feels great to build as Ornn. We do see people sometimes going, straight Catalyst, even in physical damage matchups, just because of how good the Abyssal is later when you're going to upgrade it. Catalyst is fantastic for laning. So Bud's going to be sitting in a pretty comfortable positioning and getting an early kill like that, against the Mordekaiser. I kind of talked about how, Mord, you're kind of waiting for an item or two before you really start to kind of take over in these tank matchups, especially against Ornn as strong laning. And this is just kind of pushing that back further and further, right? Anytime you die, anytime you fall behind, kind of the tankiness to damage ratio becomes kind of less and less in your favor. So could be tough for Zion now in a side lane.
Well, see if you can survive this one as the rest of the squad is heading up to this side of the map. King and Diamond in Fog of War. Forward they go. You're going to find the E slow. No flash away. Zion's going to have a hard time getting away from this one, and no ult available as well, but they don't find the CC. Here's the flash, kicking him forward. This is a lot of damage towards Tor. Poor Palafox. Flash is too late. Goes down anyway, and Hard picks one up.
Yeah, Palafox going to get knocked down, and Golden Guardians knew they were safe to make this play because they saw Nori up on that top side. So Darshan able to walk it out. Excuse me, Zion Spartan. I'm going to have to work on saying that differently.
It's going to take some time.
It's going to take some time. He's very much Darshan in my head. But they're going to TP in. They're looking for Rift. So they get a kill. They're likely going to grab Rift here too. And Golden Guardians looking strong in these early minutes.
All right, good start here. 2-1. 1,000 gold. Drake and even the Rift clear out as well with plenty of time to use it. Knock down some turret plates. Not against the wall. Bomb's not going to steal it. Hard grabs that, no problem. 62 CS. Actually out farming this poor Olaf.
Yeah, has a kill to his name there too. We can see this one more time. Hard, flash, kick. Didn't actually even use the ward, just kind of dropped it and then kicked him anyway.
Yeah.
And able to clean that one up pretty easily. Getting the flash out of Palafox is going to feel really nice there as well. Possibilities of a return gang definitely get a lot higher.
Right now just supporting the bottom side just in case there's something happening, but there's no dive to be had, so he's okay up in that top lane. 1,400 gold difference.
I think they might look for a play. He is hanging out here quite a long time. Mid lane is missing, which makes it very risky now, but he wants to try to get that Rift Herald down before plates fall. And Nori going to be spotted at this point, so Hard just kind of covering. Blaze Olive is going to shove out mid, and he's actually roaming up. They're trying to ping assist over onto Palafox. Palafox is by himself now.
Oh, another kick in for Hard. Lands the Q. Decent damage here. Half HP flashless. Shockwave buys a second, but not nearly enough of Blaze Olive. Picks up a kill here as well. 3-1.
That's great patience from the Golden Guardians. They hung around there for a long time. Hard was waiting, and until they found Palafox kind of isolated. They knew he didn't have a summoner. Very, very vulnerable at that point, and I wouldn't have minded just seeing them actually drop Rift mid lane at that point, get a lot of damage down on the turret, but wants the Empowered Recall, wants to hold on to this for a bit longer, so we'll see if he can get something better done with it.
Still have some time for that one as Zion Spartan still scales forward, but without much ability power so far in the build. Dorka trying to push as aggressively as he can. Find some minions to kill, but Inori is here. They might have the haste, they might have the slow, not quite though. And it's going to be Golden Guardians able to walk away despite the 2v3. Now Zion Spartan pushing in towards Fudge, looking for some damage here. Abyssal Mask not quite done, but soon.
Yeah, Diamond is maxing bomb, so he has 4 points in bomb. Just the one in the time warp as well as the rewind. So the speed up and slowdown isn't that crazy at this point. So really not a lot of gank assists. You just kind of have to hope that you're actually able to land that stun with the double bomb. If you can't do that, you don't really have much chance of actually chasing these guys down. And Braum can block out most of King's damage, so you can kind of become isolated if you overchase there as a Nori, which makes it pretty risky.
Right now, the Mountain Drake has spawned. Golden Guardians have yet to reset their duo lanes, so there's not a lot of map pressure around the Mountain Drake right now. And leaving it towards the top side. It's the first recall is C9, and you can see as you look at the Zillion and the Misfortune cogs down there, they are heading towards the bottom side. They're leaving top open for a little bit. Fudge without TP, but instead C9 need to play around this Drake.
Yeah, I think they just want to go for Dragon because they're running straight down mid lane. We'll try to get mid lane prio, then move over towards that Dragon. MF has the Essence Reaver. We can see Aphelios just went back to base, grabbed Essence Reaver 2. And Fudge going to be popping this ultimate.
Here comes a lot of damage. Kick does not find any further. Knockups who he walks back, and those ultis don't do a whole ton right now. As Zion Spartan pulls in, finds some decent damage, and Fudge is going to be alone in this one. Does not have the health to survive the battle. Zion should win this one. Gets hit back, but will find the kill. Zion Spartan finally on the board now. 4-1 Golden Guardians.
Yeah, Golden Guardians have full control of the area now here too. A lot was actually spent on Huhi. You know, King popped his ultimate. It was just hitting Huhi. They weren't really able to get any serious damage down in either of the carries. Gorica shows up, still has his flash, so does the Blaze Olive, so no real way to actually contest after a poor initial start to the fight from Cloud9.
All right, so double Drakes, and we finally have the Oceans bringing life. That is nice. First Ocean soul of the day here in the LCS arena as the Herald is summoned to the mid lane, and there's going to be a lot of extra gold to Blaze Olive. Turret nearly falls, more gold in the pockets. Clean it up before too long, and Hard even gets to steal away the blue up.
And something interesting about the Ocean Rift is I think this is the one that kind of changes how pros have to play the most, because there's new warding spots that you have to then take into consideration, right? All the added brush, there are certain angles where all of a sudden your ward doesn't actually cover the entire area. You can get back to that as this happens one more time. The kick spent on Fudge, pushing him out. You know, pretty ineffective. Misfortune ultimate just connecting there onto Huhi. The shockwave was good, but there's no follow-up in position as you know the carries were having to kind of flash back. Nori separated from the team, and Zion able to grab what was a pretty easy kill there onto Fudge.
And now on the bottom side, they get some turret damage here as well. So Golden Guardians stacking the cash. As the plates are falling 30 seconds to go, they will get the fifth and final plate on this bottom turret. That is the first of the game. We already know the mid one's in shambles. Top one, though, untouched. Still a very good start for Golden Guardians here. 4,000 gold ahead. Cloud9 will trade back to the top side. They'll get their own 5-plate pickup. Plates themselves, the value was nerfed slightly in the preseason patches. Now first turret itself is slightly more than 1 plate. But still, of course, a lot of gold and worth pushing these things down.
Yeah, and plate's going to be falling now. Something worth pointing out here is actually Palafox's build. He is going for the Super Soaker, the Hextech GLP. This is something I've been seeing a little bit more, even on champions that are not taking Glacial Augment. So it is becoming a bit more popular just because it's kind of this mana rush item, because it does have pretty good utility. People are kind of prioritizing the playmaking it has over the added damage of Illudens for something like setting up your own Shockwave, or I've even seen some Syndras and people take it on champions like that, where you're kind of just really prioritizing both the wave clear as well as that utility that it does bring.
Yeah, Orianna, of course, already does have her own slow on the kit, but you can add it on top. You can see after the distance, Glacial comes out right afterwards, adds some more damage, or an ult comes in and forces the TP. Sorry, forces the flash out of Blaze Olive. Extra ready for it, but now slowed. Olaf wants in, and so does the rest of the squad. 1 Q will kill him. When's the cooldown coming up? Not in time. Blaze Olive gets away.
Did King cancel his ult, or what actually happened there? Because I think Blaze Olive had already used his ultimate, but the fight's going to continue here. Huhi in trouble.
Big knock up there from Brahma. Huhi can jump back to Gorka, try to run away. Looks like they might be able to nice slow into King. They'll stay alive. Now the re-engage Zion Spartan cannot quite get the kill on the Fudge. He's kicked away by Hard.
Yeah, looks like the fight should diffuse. Huhi should be able to walk it out, but the speed ups are pretty big.
Slow. That's going to be enough with everything else on top. Stopwatch is not going to do anything. Palafox claims the kill.
Yeah, that is a completely wasted stopwatch there from Huhi. What are you buying time for? You're completely guaranteed to die there. He buys another second or two maybe, but they should have already been able to get that mid lane turret either way, so don't love that. Will be working towards the Knight's Vow, so it's not even like he's going to be turning that into a stone plate immediately. Either way, I would like to see that replay one more time and see actually what happened with King's ult, because that seemed really, really weird, as he should have been able to get that kill, and now he's going to get caught out, has no flash.
Decent damage here, no kick for the Lee Sin, but the autos might just be enough, and it is. Hard has slain him, 2-0 and 3 on the Lee Sin. Herald close to resetting, got to be careful on that patience meter, but so far so good. 1 or 2 more resets, though, and it will drop. As long as they keep the aggro correct, they should be okay. Their second Herald will go to Golden Guardians, and it'll mean another turret going down before too long.
Yeah, it's really feeling like the name of the game. Not necessarily a focus on getting your top laner ahead, but actually playing around that top side objective. So here this is one more time. I want to kind of look at King and see, why did this Ansel... Oh, it was a Victor gravity field. It was actually overlapping the brush there. So he actually either started channeling his ultimate once he was already in it, or it was just a clever placement from a Blaze Olive. I will give him that credit, but that gravity field does save him was not a self-cancel as I was kind of worried about it being.
Yeah, that would have been rough. End of the day, I think he only missed maybe one final round of pellets because he was running away, and now Fudge and Zion Spartan in a 1v1. Gonna be hard to tower dive on Mordekaiser where he ults you, and, well, we'll see what happens right there. Unstoppable, though, is the Olaf as he runs away, and Zion Spartan holds on to the ulti.
Yep, they do get the flash out of them, though, so pretty worthy trade. The ult's going down. Get that flash out of Zion Spartan. But yeah, it is a really scary champion to play around as a jungler, and that's one of the things that I think people find really frustrating about Mordekaiser is that you want to sometimes punish him if he's pushing aggressively, but if you show up, he can just choose to take a 1v1 against the jungler, who is very likely going to be under-leveled and probably lose that 1v1 pretty heavily. So they're not able to fully commit to that tower dive, but they do get a summoner out, and it is Golden Guardians taking another dragon. 3 going their way, 17:30 into the game. 1 off of that Ocean Soul is such a big deal. And when you already have a fairly durable front line with the Mordekaiser plus the Braum up there, they're really going to be getting much more difficult to actually deal with. And especially for someone like an Ornn, when you're a low damage champion trying to deal with someone who is this carry that already has sustain, Ocean Soul makes it pretty much impossible to ever kill them. Like, Ornn just will never kill off Mordekaiser who has an Ocean Soul. Even with some really bad misplays, you just don't have enough damage to ever actually get over that hump.
Now Golden Guardians only 1 break away from a lot of defensive stats. It's going to be really hard to kill those guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Because if you're Cloud9, it's not as though you have been getting other things on the map at the expense of these dragons, right? They have just been kind of losing everywhere. They lost both the rifts. They lost all 3 dragons. It's 2 towers to 1. They've just been kind of getting dominated in this early game, and they're going to have to try to find some picks and really make sure that they are the ones who get this next dragon, or it could be curtains for them pretty early on.
Well, good job to Golden Guardians rebuilding the roster and still finding a lot of success. Shout out Coach Raz for coaching them well on top of that one. Looking at the next major play, of course, they can wait for a while. I think, playing a very defensive game and saying, let's just make sure we secure Ocean Drake. And it's a good 4 minutes away, so we got a long perspective here on this one. But that is going to be a win condition in and of itself.
Yeah, I think that's the play, right? You don't need to rush anything. It's not as though you're going to get completely outscaled. Yes, there is good scaling on Cloud9 when you look at Orianna, when you look at Ornn and Zilean support and these types of things. But having Victor, having the Mord, I think scales pretty well into the later stages of the game too. Aphelios, and you had kind of talked about, it doesn't scale as well as some of the other marksmen because your spells are not dealing more and more damage kind of with additional rank ups throughout the game. Yeah, it's like you have your R and your Q, those are your active skills. Q gets more damage at 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and then stops gaining damage. It has an AD ratio, so sure, like all marksmen, you gain stuff, but like Tristana ranks up rapid fire levels 8 through 13. Yeah. Aphelios gets 3% more attack speed from ranking up like the W on level up. The scaling is not the same. He is early game focused. And you try to scale up with Infernum damage, and he's certainly all right. But yeah, I tend to take other champions super late game in most cases. Though, of course, the pop-ups can exist. Either way, Golden Guardians, of course, in a very good spot. Herald charge to the top lane. 3rd turret goes down. They will not get tier 2, though. Yeah, 5,000 gold lead. Feeling really, really good. And I think with the kind of pace that they are setting, there's going to be multiple item completions coming through before that next dragon, right? We have the money for the Black Cleaver very likely here for hard. That is going to be a big item. Knight's Vow is done. We can see Gorka actually going for the second item, IE. The most common build I had been seeing on Aphelios really was as if you're into Hurricane. A lot of people were really liking the interactions with the extra Hurricane bolts there, but this is sort of more that flat damage, AD heavy type of build that you were expecting MF to go for, and King, I think, is going to be going for that, but had to make a pit stop for that QSS because of the worry of Mordekaiser.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely correct. MF is not going to dual Mord 1v1 in the Death Realm. You will absolutely always lose. He will steal your AD, and you'll lose the fight. So, yeah, it sucks to lose 1,300 gold in your build when you're already behind, but the game is worth without it. And now, mid lane pressure. King getting fed XP via Diamond Zilean, trying to catch up in levels himself, and they're doing okay right there. I do have a temporary level lead down in the bottom lane. As Fudge pushes down here, has the upgraded Abyssal Mask. That's going to be a big surge of gold. That helps. Towards the Iceborne Gauntlet, going to be probably the next piece of that build.
Yeah. Kind of interesting to see, there's a 3-man play down here. I'm not sure if they were hoping Hard would show up because they saw Darshan there. They don't want to go for a 3v1 dive because Mordekaiser could just isolate one of you. So I'm not really sure what they were doing. And if it wasn't just looking for Lee Sin, hoping he would try to show up to punish Fudge, and then look to try to get something done there. You can see a Blaze Olive very far up, pushing these waves, and Cloud9 trying to move around, trying to punish this, but the vision play has been really, really good, honestly, for the most part, for Golden Guardians. When you look at, ward up here, they have, pretty deep vision kind of on that top side as some of that is getting cleared out, but, it's giving them a lot of safety to kind of push this.
Ooh, nice kick there. Nice flash though, King. Pretty quick on that one. Gets away. That would have been a pickoff probably.
Yeah, that was pretty clean from King. So, you don't have a move block of yourself, but if you QSS in the air and just do that, nothing happens. But if you QSS, you can actually flash. You unblock yourself from that movement. So able to do that, pretty expensive, kind of there as far as resources being used. And it is Golden Guardians who have control of this area. They have vision around the dragon, and they're looking to push mid here. King is going to be really vulnerable. He's got to be careful because, remember, no QSS from Mordekaiser ulted. You can get flash ulted by Zion and just get roasted.
Shockwave on 2. MF Bolt gets decent damage while forcing a flash out. Order comes across, knocking up 2 as well, and they can push forward now. Health bar lead for Cloud9. They were behind for a while. This Ocean Drake is alive, which would be the soul for Golden Guardians. And at what point does the fight really start? A knock by the front line. Damage to the Blaze Olive. Can't kill him. Lunori forced to run away. They still have Zillion ult, though. They can use that to revive somebody as the Ocean Drake is falling rapidly. And Lunori is nowhere to be seen. He's healing in the mid lane, and the Ocean Soul goes over. Diamond has to 1v1 this Mordekaiser, and he burns stopwatch. He doesn't self-ult. He dies not casting the spell. Would have done a revive anyway, don't get me wrong, but dies after the flash regardless, and now Golden Guardians have the Ocean Soul.
Yeah, they're in full control of this game, playing it out very patiently, not panicking and just committing to a fight there. They played it slowly. They have the soul, and 23 minutes into this game, feels like they have everything they could possibly want to be able to close this one out. And it's not that they even have to rush, right? You're 5,000 plus gold ahead, 4 dragons to 0. You have the soul. That is going to be with you for the rest of the game. Here it is one more time. Just some really good poke, honestly, from a Blaze Olive over onto Inori. Inori got down very, very low, down to 10% after the ultimate and the additional laser did hit. And it's at that point that Cloud9 really just has to back it up. Palafox is almost out of mana. King has no flash or QSS. Your support gets pulled into Death Realm, and Inori's really low. So just really well played fight there by the Victor, and the Baron threat becomes so much higher now too with the double Ocean plus the Ocean Soul. It's very difficult to actually poke this team off of a Baron, and they can kind of sustain themselves on it for a really long time.
Well, Build's still pushing forward right now. One more upgrade available to Fudge as the Redemption is open there for Diamond. It's less gold efficient. Redemption gets less total bonus stats than something like a Black Cleaver or a Luden's Echo. So they might wait until that item's done for Inori, but he's still several gold away.
Yeah, we'll see where he wants to go. Could also wait for an IE. King probably going towards that next, so might want to hold an upgrade there, but he will have one at his next additional level 2. So
XP-wise, only 1/3 away to 14.
They're looking to
so
fight
Fudge
here.
might hold. Here comes the TP play right in towards Gorka. Might not have the way to stop him. In goes Inori. Big shockwave on top as well. And they're going to revive him. Get him a lot of health on top of the Redemption now as well. 2 kills picked up. Cloud9 might be fighting it. King just, wow, stalwart. Does not go down. Finally went traded back. A Blaze Olive does get the kill into Inori as the ulti has been already dropped down by the Zillion. Now Fudge in the Death Realm. Has to 1v1 Zion Spartan. Gets the knockup. Gets a bit of damage here. He's going to come back up in a second though. It has to flash over the wall as soon as it drops. Would have been stunned otherwise. So out they go. C9 do go +1 kill, but they lose territory.
Yeah, they do go +1 on the kills, and I think that's a great play for C9 to make. It's really hard to find any fight that's going to look good for you when you're in this type of position, so they look to try to pull the trigger on it. They don't get quite enough, and Golden Guardians with the Ocean Soul, they just hang around. They're actually starting up this Baron. They're TPing back in here. Gorka is here. Fudge could be in trouble.
And Fudge only has 1,000 health. They are sustaining through the Baron fights. Only 1/3 effective against non-champion, but it's still sustained. Zion Spartan holding the front line, no problem. The heart stays in. There is no opposing jungler. Spite should not be a problem. If Palafox can range it, he cannot. He switched to Spite, but he couldn't get in range. Baron picked up by Golden Guardians. Kick back. It's a knock up there as well on a Diamond. They can disengage.
I mean, they're just still full health, full mana. Blaze Olive went through that entire team fight, is sitting with what looks like entirely full resources at this point. So here's the fight one more time. The flank coming through from Fudge, but they've been shutting down the Ornn ultimates so well. Notice the kick from Hard there, interrupting the redirect of the ultimate across the team. King just barely survives that damage coming through from a Blaze Olive, but he's able to kite back, heal up, while killing Inori, then Zion Spartan goes forward, and they just have such a health advantage that despite the fact that they're down numbers, it really just doesn't matter. The Victor is ridiculously strong, full mana, another spell or two will get him right back to full health, so they say, hey, we can go straight to the Baron. We have the resources to do this, and they're able to secure it.
Fighting yet again, Pudge looking for the knockup, gonna find some of the backliners there. Decent damage towards Gorica. Can they have the dive? Not even close, and Inori just goes down. They're gonna find some decent shots here as well. Will they find the follow through?
Oh, Palafox is low.
Damage from the Inferno, but they're not gonna get the rest of the kills. The flash in, Hard lands the kick. He lands the Q, he follows it in, and there's no way out for King. Summoner Heal was down, more kills picked up. Golden Guardians charging up the gut.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be it. They have dominated this game start to finish. And with the Ocean Soul, no reason to stop pushing here. King, 30 seconds on him. They could look for the end, but they are actually pushing bot lane, so they want to try to play it safer. They're going to look for double inhib potentially here and try to prepare for that Elder Dragon, which could be maybe the only way Cloud9 could kind of hope to try to come back in this.
Well, we'll see what happens there. Good poke, Diamond at half HP from a single spell, and a Blaze All Up goes back to full HP from the same move. Siege slapping on the bottom side, and that turret losing health every single time it happens. Who he walks to the front line, he feels safe. For good reason. Knocked up though in turret range, does find some damage, but shielded up and walks away.
Yeah, Zion going to be pushing in that mid lane. King getting really low. That laser taking about 40% of his health, and they're just going to tank it up. Tank up the turret with the Ocean Soul, knock that down. Second inhibitor going to be falling here. Cloud9 going to have to try to pick their moment and look for a play, but with the Baron buff, with all of the gold and Dragon advantage that Golden Guardians have, it's hard to think of the play that really looks good and turns this game around, besides, you know, a miraculous Elder Dragon steal and a huge Ori Shockwave plus, you know, MF ultimate combo. It basically has to be kind of the dream for it to really have any sort of an effect, I think, on this Golden Guardians team.
Yeah, this is going to be huge. 9,000 gold lead already. Now, the saving grace, and I've seen this happen several times, is the Elder Dragon steal.
Yeah.
Elder Dragon is full power, whether you're the winning team or not. The whole scaling with Drake's taken is gone. An Elder steal can absolutely win the game for the brink of defeat. That needs to be played around.
Only problem is no flash on Inori for a bit, and you know he's not a champion with a move block, right? So it's going to be very difficult for him to actually get in there and try to get in range.
It might just have to be the play somehow anyway, because Golden Guardians otherwise probably not going to lose this game. Running around, finding a bit of poke. They pull one back in. This could be already the fight as Inori dropped a little bit low, and bullet time only does so much.
Yeah, I mean, they're just going to heal right back to full, though. It's just not an issue whatsoever. And with that cooldown out of there, MF has very little threat. You know, knowing that there is no QSS or flash on King, it's really tough. And Zion's actually working his way around. He's just going to go to the base and threaten ending the game. This is a very Zion Spartan move. Forget the Elder. Let's go for the base.
He's going to try it right now. 4v5, they can just bait the time. And of course, keep in mind, Golden Guardians can run down that right side as well. Now here comes the first recall. One's heading back. Diamond going to go back as well. Now a third one running backwards. Zion Spartan just hitting structures, clearing minions. Says, okay, I hear it. They're recalling. Out I go. King can clear the way, but now without misfortune, that fight is easier. Inori getting closer to plastic available. Does not have it. That's going to be relevant. Nice shield up for who. He stops that one. Now they're re-engaged. They might have found that kill, but Hard gets him first. Both kills now coming in for Golden Guardians. Poor Cloud9 forced one away. Palafox alone with Zion Spartan. Has somewhere to run, but gets pulled back in, gets slammed, takes a bunch of damage. Flash to the wall, doesn't matter. And Golden Guardians can ignore the Drake. They can go simply for the win itself. 2v5 is not a real defense. Cloud9 will fall. There's no way to stop this one. Zion Spartan's going to be invincible. Here comes the engage. The knock up to King. The follow-through is there. No way out for Cloud9. Golden Guardians going to start their Academy season 2-0.
Looking really good, doing it. An absolutely dominant win here. Both Golden Guardians teams actually got Dragon Soul today.
They did.
They did. But turns out Ocean Soul better. There you go.
Ocean Soul,
conclusive evidence.
Yeah. Elder steals also pretty rough stuff. Or I guess Elder pickups, really. It wasn't necessarily a steal. But regardless, well done to them. I do like that we get Academy games on stage every week as well, especially for these players where it's their first time. Gorica, his first time in Academy. Collegiate player otherwise. 2-1-6. Solid KDA, solid CS. Well done to him.
I think it's one of the cool parts about having Academy on Saturday, on Sunday, and we're going to have it on Monday too.
Yeah.
Is that these guys, you know, some of these young players especially, are going to be able to get stage time, get more experience, and maybe be more LCS ready. Golden Guardians look really, really good. I do think, Cloud9 kind of struggled in this one. It didn't feel like they could ever really get their comp going. Hard was kind of all around the map. He was really getting a lot done, and it does start to feel very, very tough for Nori when you start falling behind the Lee Sin. You don't really have a lot of lanes to kind of gank, and it felt like they were drafting so heavily for this eventual team fight that maybe they wanted to get with the Zillion Ori and Olaf, and they were just so far behind when that kind of time came that they couldn't really find any fights. Yeah,
I got to give huge props to Hard overall, right? 4-0-8. Great area code, by the way. Can't recommend it enough. But overall, I mean, it was huge. He was part of the old Echo Fox roster in the Froggen era. That team generally did not do very well, and he was part of that. And, he was honestly, way back when, 2016, 2015, whatever. Yeah, pretty mediocre player. But, right, Academy Finals last year, I'm pretty sure. Great game so far here. His ganks were on point, had a lot of really good engages. Blaze Olive, great follow-up. I know a lot of eyes are on him as maybe the best Academy mid laner. He had the best KD in the game, 6-0-7. Huge from him here as well. So a really good-looking roster, especially through mid-jungle.
Yeah, and we have seen a couple really impressive Victor games today now, right? Yeah. I believe it was actually Froggen who was playing it earlier.
Yeah, I think, Froggen himself
really
also
strong
won.
Victor game. Blaze Olive, really dominant here too. And you can see how Victor really can start to take over a game, right? He was so big around those dragon fights, poking people out with lasers, chunking down Nori before multiple fights, denying any even potential chance of stealing dragon.
Yep, so well done by them. And now to send it down to Avli for an interview with a victorious mid laner.
Thanks, guys. I am here with Blaze Olive. Congratulations on the win. I want to ask you, run me through the end of the game, because it looked like you guys were going for it, and then we saw Zion Spartan try to come in and backdoor.
Yeah, so it actually wasn't as chaotic as it might have looked. We were pretty calm on what we wanted to do. We knew that the only way we lose is they get Elder somehow, so we just wanted to pull the Elder enough so that they were interested and just have Darshan go and backdoor the Nexus. Eventually, we got a really nice chunk onto MF, so he needed to come back, and once we saw MF in base, we knew we could just go really aggressive for the engage. So it was actually pretty clean compared to how it might have, at least in communication, we all sort of were on the same page.
So we got to talk to your coach, Raz, before the game started during some of the downtime, and he was really singing the praises of you guys. So what do you think of Raz as a coach? Does he force you to watch a lot of LPL VODs, or does he teach you something different?
I really like Raz as a coach. He sort of, the way that he coaches, in my opinion, is he tries to get us in a direction, on the same direction, the same sort of mindset and how to play out the game. So he's not necessarily like telling us what to do every single play, but he's trying to, a lot of our roster is pretty well knowledgeable. We've had some pretty stacked teams, so we all kind of know what we want to do, and it's just, he's sort of guiding us to get all on the same page, and it's been working out pretty well so far.
So you say that. I want to pick your brain a little bit, because you do have a lot of veterans on your team, and you are a pretty seasoned Academy player. So what are your thoughts on the conversations of, should we have more NA amateur players, or should we keep bringing these veterans into the Academy scene?
I think there definitely should be a balance. I can't speak specifics, but I think that for how many veterans there are some veterans that, in my opinion, aren't like as motivated as some of the newer players. And while they might not perform as the newer players might not perform as well, I think that their motivation and drive to get better is something that's really valuable. Someone like Gorka, for example, he's really new, but I had the opportunity to play with him for a bit, and I thought his mindset was really good. And I think that he is someone that can grow into someone that's much stronger. But I think that there are also veterans that have the correct mindset and still as hungry as they were when they first started. So I think it's just a balance.
Well, tell me about your drive and your motivation in the Academy scene, because now that you're on Golden Guardians, do you see this as an opportunity to prove yourself and how good of a mid laner you are, and potentially try to find that LCS time?
Yeah, I think this is for sure my year where I will look to get onto an LCS squad. I think last year I had a pretty good performance, and I think this year I have a lineup that will allow me to succeed, and I'm just going to try and play my best and help my teammates play their best to sort of show my case for why I should be picked up.
Well, I'm excited to see it. Once again, congratulations. And that's it for us here. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you very much, Avali. As we wrap up the day, let's see how the Academy teams have stacked up so far. With their win today, Golden Guardians start the split undefeated, alone in first place, 2-0. Cloud9, of course, 1-1 near the middle.
Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of interesting hearing from Blaze Olive, though, because that is really everyone's goal, let's be honest, in Academy, is to make it to LCS.
Yep.
And it's kind of, how do you make that argument? How do you sell yourself? And he's saying it's through not only his own success, but getting the success of his teammates and enabling them to really do very well.
If you run the entire Academy season going 6-0-7 every game, pick the guy up, put him in the LCS, right? Like, if you somehow run an entire season 0 deaths and like
deathless,
35 kills,
very low requirements there for you.
Just play perfectly for Head, and you'll be people will want you on your team.
Good point.
Of course, the rest of the Academy teams will finalize their results over the next 2 days, but tomorrow's schedule starts with the LCS, beginning with Dignitas versus Evil Geniuses, followed by TSM and Immortals. Golden Glue will face off with his old team when Golden Guardians and Cloud9 meet in Game 3, with FlyQuest versus Counterlogic Gaming rounding out the Sunday LCS games. Then CLG Academy face off against Dignitas to wrap up the day. Gonna be a whole lot of fun stuff. If you need more league action, stay tuned for the LEC rebroadcast going live right after the show. Now for myself, the rest of the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for more of the LCS. Good night.